Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another horror movie review. And like I said in my last video, I know it's already October 12th, I haven't really done anything Halloween-y at all, and this is a horror channel. I explained everything in my House of a Thousand Corpses review, but I do want to go through the Halloween series for the month of October. Now I've already done the first one, so now it's Halloween 2. Which to me is my favorite Halloween sequel, my second favorite Halloween film overall, and really the only other one besides the original that I think is very good. I don't own 3. I don't own Halloween 3, and I haven't seen it in between 15 and 20 years. 4 is 5 on. I don't like them. I haven't seen the new one that came out last year, but I love Halloween 2. And these are the kind of sequels that I like, where it literally picks up right where the last one left off, so you can almost watch a 3-hour movie. John Carpenter did not return to direct. Instead, it was directed by Rick Rosenthal, who I know has done other films, but I can't think of him on the top of my head. But director of photography, Dean Cundy, who did that on the original. It was produced by Carpenter and Debra Hill. It was written by Carpenter and Debra Hill. And returning to the cast is Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasence, I think Charles Cyphers came back. I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure he came back to play Sheriff Brackett. Charles... I don't think he did. I might have been wrong. Nope, he did. Okay. Sheriff Lee Brackett. I love the opening of this film. Like, right after... Actually, I think it's right before the credits. It has that song by... Can't remember who does it now. A Mr. Sandman song. Which again, like I said in House of a Thousand Corpses, I love when horror movies take really happy-sounding, old, classic songs. Because that just adds more creepiness to it, I think. And so, it shows that Michael got up and left. That's why we didn't see him in the final shot. We do get a lot of POV like we did in the original. Like, he goes in this old married couple's house and grabs a knife. Doesn't kill them, surprisingly. And then Laurie, once again played by Jamie Lee Curtis, even though she doesn't really have much to do, like, almost the whole film, she's in the hospital. And unlike Rob Zombie's H2, the hospital is the setting for the whole film. And it's still, Donald Pleasence trying to find Michael, running around with the sheriff. And the sheriff finds out that Annie's been killed. And, it really gives a good aftermath of what we saw in the first film, and it continues it in a good way. The only, major difference was maybe a lot of it obviously doesn't look as great as Carpenter's, because Carpenter has a really keen eye for, lighting and angles and such. Not to say Rosenthal doesn't, but, you can tell a Carpenter film. Where the original sort of... I don't know if it really prided itself, but, it was known for not having almost any blood. Except, very, very little blood. This one, coming out in 1981, you already had a handful of big slashers between 78 and 81. Hell, just 80 and 81 alone had a shit ton of slashers. So they went all out with this one. I mean, there's blood. They got kind of creative with some of them. Like I think one most people will remember is the therapy hot tub with the one couple. The EMT and the nurse, they go in there to have sex or to do stuff in the hot tub, and Michael cranks it up and like holds her under the water, which I like the contrast because she makes him get out to do something with the temperature. So he's behind this glass, this like obscuring glass. He gets killed there. We don't really see anything. We can just tell by shadows what's going on. But then hers is up close, him dunking her in. Every time he picks her up, there's more and more burnt skin. Or like that one nurse. I don't know how this happened. I don't think this is even physically possible. Because I'm pretty sure he does it with a scalpel. Not a knife, but a scalpel. I could be wrong though. He stabs her in the back and like picks her up. If it's a scalpel, good fucking luck doing that. And then like her clogs just fall off. I like in the beginning, there's a scene or a shot, sort of like in the original Halloween, where Michael watches Tommy Doyle walk through the schoolyard. There's one like that where he's walking through the town, and of course everyone is dressed up, so he just kind of blends in. I don't really care much for the theme in this one though. It's still the same like 2-note theme, but it's done with more like an 80s synthesizer sound. I'm not the biggest fan of that. And if you remember Ben Tramer, the guy she had a crush on in the first film, he makes an appearance in this. Some kid dressed like Michael Myers and he gets killed. So if you go and watch Cinema Snob's reviews of these, he always brings up Ben Tramer. And a lot of the third act is pretty much the same as the first film. It's Laurie being stalked and hunted through the halls of the hospital, but of course, you know, she's barefoot. She's probably naked under the gown. Maybe she has underwear on, but either way, she's barefoot. Her ankle's messed up. She's probably doped up on morphine or something. And this is also the movie that gave us the revelation that Laurie is Michael Myers' sister. Something I was never a fan of, even when I was a kid. Like, I first got into the Halloween movies in probably 4th grade. At the latest. And even then I thought it was kind of stupid. Because film critic Kim Newman sort of made the point how the early 80s was sort of the age of Luke, I'm Your Father. Because that was such, you know, a kick-ass twist that everyone, you know, shit themselves over. So anytime they want to throw in a twist, they just make it family. Even Carpenter himself had gone on to say he kind of regrets it and sort of blames it on a night of heavy drinking and writing at the same time. I would say a major bummer about the one that came out last year is it totally retcons everything. Retcon is a comic book term for retroactive continuity, meaning everything between original and the one that came out last year is gone, which is good except for this one. And I really enjoyed this film. I think this is a great sequel. They still could have kept it in there. They probably could have find a way to make it so that they're not siblings anymore. But really, just the whole thing about them being siblings and I guess like the synthesized score would be the only two major complaints I have. And it's also unclear about the flashbacks, like when Michael's a boy in the hospital, and Laurie comes to see him. She looks like she's anywhere between 5 and 8 years old. So she must have already been adopted by the Strodes. So why would they bring her there? And two, how would she not remember? Because she visits him knowing, she calls him Michael. But again, they don't really make it clear if that's a true flashback that actually happened, or if it's just, you know, a hallucination or a dream. This is also the movie that I realized, like, why is it every horror movie has, like, the worst staffed hospitals ever? Because literally, like, beginning of the movie, there's, like, a ton of people, even patients. And then by the end of the night, the hospital is pretty much closed. No doctors, no nurses, no other patients. And this was also intended to be the final Halloween film. Because after this, Universal sort of had the idea, well, Halloween itself is a franchise. Why don't we do like a Tales from the Dark Side type thing where every year we'll come out with a new Halloween film, take place around Halloween, but it'll be a different unrelated story. It'll be like an anthology series. They tried that with Halloween 3, and people fucking hated it. Yeah, 3 is a bad movie. I would say it's a good homage to crappy 50s horror films. Even like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I like. I like the one from the 70s better. But, yeah, people fucking hated that movie. So then, yeah. After that, every effort was about Michael Myers. And I think this is the second best one. Because the only thing it really does wrong, story-wise, would be the whole Michael-Laurie sibling thing. But the way it picks up right from the... Well, actually, even when it opens up with the ending of the last one, it's kind of different. Like, they kind of shifted stuff around. Like, I don't think he fell off the balcony as much as he, like, stood up on the railing and then fell. When I was younger, and when she first gets to the hospital, we see a little boy dressed as a pirate. He's holding like a rag up to his mouth. His mom is walking him in. And at first, I thought he like broke a tooth on candy. But if you pause it and look, if I remember correctly, there's like a razor blade sticking out of his mouth. So that whole scare about people putting, glass and razor blades in kids' candy on Halloween, they touched on that in this. Nice touch. But yeah, Donald Pleasence, great as always. Oh, the thing I was going to mention when I said this was the last, like, Michael Myers one, or intended to be, was it really kind of makes you question 4 and up as far as Michael and, well, not so much Michael, because we know he comes back all the time anyway, but like Loomis. The ending of this film, I don't even think I need to say spoiler alert. It's October, it's a Halloween film, I'm sure everyone's seen it at this point. He is in that room that fucking explodes, and all he gets is like a little like Dr. Evil scar in his face and like a frigged up hand. And then he's in the other sequels. And then when we see Michael, that rubber mask is literally engulfed in flames. Flames are coming out of the eyes and the mouth while he's still wearing it. There's no way he should even have a face, but he did. Yeah, Halloween, the only sequel I actually really, really enjoy and think is a great movie, even on its own. They should have just left it alone with this. If they had called Halloween 3 just Season of the Witch, then they might have not even had to ever make another Halloween movie. Because Halloween 4 was the only reason why, because they had to put Michael Myers back to the name of Halloween and sort of save themselves. But anyway, Halloween 2, great sequel, the last truly great Halloween film. Stay tuned for more Halloween, now sequel reviews for the month of October. I'm trying to catch up with horror movie and Halloween reviews. So anyway, thank you for watching.